Hello, and welcome to Marcelot Fruit User's channel. I am your host, Marcelot Fruit User, aka Storyteller. Join me, won't you, as I bring you a tale of gripping adventure, heartwarming romance, terrible sadness, epic quests, and deep philosophical meanings of what it truly means to be a hero. Yes, that classic story of the Brony fandom, the one that goes down in history. Yes, I am talking about the only story worthy of this channel. Twilight Sparkle slowly reads a book. Yes, we are going to read this epic right now. Join us, won't you, as we read Twilight Sparkle reads a book. Twilight slowly reads a book by Jumbled Thought. Actor 1. It was a dark and stormy night, with winds as powerful as tanks knocking against the treehouse of the ever-infamous and highly regarded Princess Alicorn Twilight Sparkle. Chapter 2. She was just laying down on her wondrous seats and wearing her normal silk pajamas. Chapter 3. She had reading to do, and though the book still did not look interesting, Mrs. Celestia had assigned it so she had to read it. Chapter 4. She opened the book and her eyes scanned the page. Chapter 5. Page after page passed, and her eyelids grew heavy as the hours slipped by. Chapter 6. Hour after hour, page after page, the time passed unbearably slowly for the tired Alicorn. Chapter 7. She yawned and spent a moment looking down at her small, scared assistant. Chapter 8. He had been able to go to bed when she had wanted, only shortly after having received her book. Chapter 9. Now she sat there, wanting to sleep, but being unable. Chapter 10. Thus she continued. Chapter 11. On and on the book continued, reciting pointless fact after pointless fact. Chapter 12.
At least the facts I've already read 100 million times before.
Chapter 13. She sighed and turned the page. Chapter 14. And the next page. Chapter 15. And the next page. Chapter 16. Suddenly, she turned the page. Chapter 17. Twilight Facebooked the book and pushed it to the side. Chapter 18. She wanted to rest. Maybe she could find a ward after just a moment or two. Chapter 19. A simple few moments. Chapter 20. Grumble. Chapter 21. Darn it! Chapter 22. Twilight immediately moved off her bed and swiftly trotted down the stairs, each hoof resounding within the dark treehouse. R.I.P. treehouse. Chapter 23. A horn glowed bright to illuminate the nice wooden furniture. Chapter 24. She went into the kitchen and licked her lips when her eyes happened upon some cake from a party with Pinky earlier that night. Chapter 25.
Now it only hadn't left me so drained.
Chapter 26. She picked it up and bit into her lip. Chapter 27. Twilight had so much to eat earlier that day that this could upset the peculiar balance of her normal dietary system. Chapter 28. She shrugged and slammed her hoof into the counter to flip the cake into the air. Chapter 29. She opened her mouth wide, her jaw stretching to its absolute maximum and chopping down on the moist chocolate cake. Chapter 30. Twilight shuddered in almost ecstasy as she savored the flavor. Chapter 31. Her saliva mixed with the glorious pastry and melted it almost in a minute. Chapter 32.
More like 54 seconds, but I suppose close enough.
Chapter 33. She thanked her messy style of eating as she licked her lavender muzzle, enjoying each sweet morsel of sweet frosting. Chapter 34. With her sack devoured, Twilight slowly trotted up the stairs. Chapter 35. She had given herself enough of a break and now had to get back to her book. Chapter 36. Her long, boring, annoying, aggravating book. Chapter 37. She opened the book, and a small pain in her head told her that her superior intellect to most was already to the point of rejecting such stroke. Chapter 38. She shook her head furiously and continued to read, against her mind's warnings. Chapter 39. On and on she read, never ending the sheer torture she had been assigned. Chapter 40. The horror of the book knew no rest. Chapter 41. Well, it did
no rest, or perhaps not.
Chapter 42.
I mean, the horrors never began in the first place.
Chapter 43.
It would have been so much better if it had been horror.
Chapter 44.
Or plot.
Chapter 45.
Or of anything of interest, especially seeing I'm being forced to read this.
Chapter 46. The longest chapter of the whole story. Are you ready? Because this is going to be the pivotal plot point of this book. Without this, the rest of the story cannot move forward. Without this one chapter, the rest of the story will fall, and you will not know the gripping drama that follows. Thank you. Chapter 47. Spike jumped as Twilight let out her raucous and rough scream into the heavens. Chapter 48. Jeez, Twilight, with a scream like that, you might just pierce the heavens or something. Chapter 49.
Spike curled back up, his short tail wrapping around the small body.
Who was that? Was there somebody else doing this page? Chapter 50. Unfortunately, because of his annoyance, the shovel end slapped into his eye. Ow. Chapter 51. Chapter 52.
Don't hurt yourself, Spike. Only one of us should be in agony tonight.
Chapter 53. Twilight curls herself back up tighter and tighter. Chapter 54. She was cold at this point, and the cacophony outside was driving her insane. Chapter 55. She glared at the world outside, cursing the fact that she could not control and force the elements under her control. Chapter 56.
Yet, at least.
Chapter 57.
Yet.
Chapter 58. So onwards she read. I'm sorry. Chapter 59. Page by page by page by page by page. Chapter 60.
Wait.
Up to 61. Sorry. So Twilight was swatting at the ladybug that landed on her bed. Chapter 62. Now she continues to read page by page by page. Chapter 63. She stopped as she got to the next chapter, needing to shake her head to try to clear the pain building between her eyes. Chapter 64.
Someone just end this already. Please.
Chapter 65.
Wait. Is your life here? Oh, crap. He fell asleep. What? He can't fall asleep. We're only 66 chapters in. He promised the entire audience he would read this entire thing. Well, what do you expect Trixie to do about it? I don't know. You take over. I'll try to wake him up. Fine. Chapter 66. Twilight moved to push the book away. Chapter 67. It had no use to her, and Celestia must have known that. Chapter 68. However, this page was titled Necromancy in all of its wondrous uses. Chapter 69. Twilight's eyes lit up at the mention of new magic and leaned in close. Chapter 70. The veins in her eyes could be seen as she almost pressed her face back into it. Chapter 71. The page read, Necromancy is merely a filly's tale meant to scare little ponies. Chapter 72. All unicorns who study it are stupid, and therefore, seeing as you are probably begging this to be of even the slightest interest, you are stupid. Chapter 73. Continue reading, please, for our 4,000-word description of paint drying for 5 minutes. Chapter 74. We will continue to explain this process as it dries for the next 9 hours. Chapter 75. Twilight's eyes twitch.
Alright, I'm back. Chapter 76. Twitch the gun. Chapter 77. Rage burned deep within the mare now grew, growing more powerful by the moment. Chapter 78. She had had enough. Chapter 79. The book now mocked her and would pay for this transgression. Chapter 80. Her mind flashed 1,000 different ideas, from banishment to being forced to be put into the Apple family toilet. Chapter 81, which was an outhouse. Chapter 82. However, she decided that the classic approach to book destruction would be best. Chapter 83. She threw the book into the air, her eyes glowing bright white. Chapter 84. Magic filled the room, and Spike was rudely awakened as Twilight hovered in the air. Chapter 85. More and more power grew in the tree. Chapter 86. It threatened to break the house, rend it from its roots, and destroy the poor house. Chapter 87. Finally, the spell was cast. Pull the string. Chapter 88. The hook lit on fire, burnt up in 5 seconds, then the ashes quickly disappeared. Chapter 89. She had done it. Chapter 90. She had destroyed the book. Chapter 91. The book was the bane of her existence, as she had destroyed it. Chapter 92. Burned into ashes. Chapter 93. Murder literature. Chapter 94. She smiled at having murdered the terrible book. Chapter 95. It was horrible. Chapter 96. No good. Chapter 97. Very bad, even. Chapter 98. She almost wished she hadn't burned the book, so she could repeatedly pause it over and over for being so miserable to her. Chapter 99. But no, the book had to be murdered, so that nobody would have to suffer what she went through. Chapter 100. Twilight lay like a tense sigh, curled up in her bed. Chapter 101. She was asleep very quickly, a content smile on her face. Chapter 102. Her dreams were filled by the only dreams that a mare in her predicament could have. Chapter 103. The only type of dream that anyone in this predicament could have. Chapter 104. She dreamed a dream, of that there was no doubt. Chapter 105. However, the dream of millions of facts of books being punched, doused, and then burned as high as the sky, or when she had the extra bits, was beautiful. Chapter 106. However, then the problem came. Chapter 107. Facts pushed the glory out. Chapter 108. Boring, mundane facts. Chapter 109. About what? Chapter 110. Only the most horrible, frightening, boring thing ever. Chapter 111. So she sat there in her dream, thinking about only how paint may have dried for 9 hours. Chapter 112. Twilight woke up screaming. Chapter 113. She couldn't take it. She had to know. Chapter 114. It would haunt her until she died. Chapter 115. The bookstore manager was glad to see her, but not so glad as every book was ripped from its selling. Chapter 116. Finally, she had it back in her possession, and she was going to read it! Read it! Chapter 117. And there she sat, for hours, reading about how paint dried. Well, wasn't that a wonderful story, ladies and gentlemen? So filled with heartwarming drama, grand and glorious epic adventures, and everything that you needed to know about what makes one a true blue hero, a champion, a grand and glorious pony willing to stand up for what is right. At the same time, we learned a lot about loss. I, for instance, cried my eyes out when I watched Rainbow Dash almost give her life to save her friends in the final teeming moments of glory. And my heart soared when I saw Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash embrace each other in a heartwarming path of raw emotion. I also admit I had a gut-filling laugh when Pinkie Pie had her grand and glorious party at the end that made us all remember the ones we lost, the ones we gained, and the ones we loved the most. I even sort of teared when Fast Century got on his knees in front of Big Mac and proposed to him. And Twilight and Trixie both trotted off into the sunset, ready for more glorious adventures, their friends waiting for their triumphant return. Yes, I also learned most about what life is, about the glory and beauty of the world around me, and what makes a true story. And now, for all of you who have sat through all 13 minutes of this glorious, heart-gripping tale, I have but one thing to say. One final message that will truly sum up everything that I know. Ahem. April Fooleth. April fool us all. I thank you.
Oh, you realized we probably just ticked off about 1,000,000 subscribers with this one. So, Trixie,
It's not like you're going to pay attention to the end of this video. Those idiots don't know what's coming to them.
that's alright for user.
I mean, they all know I'm a vain, arrogant jerk who probably thinks less of them.
That's alright for user.
Nothing like a good April Fool's gang, huh? Now come on, Trixie, let's go get hosed and party until nightfall, and while I write my big old epic about it, Gary Stu OC that wins over everybody's hearts.
That's alright for user. What? It's still recording.
Oh,